the member for Molo, the Honorable Kimani Kuria.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for according me this opportunity. I would like to say I sit in the Finance Committee that's led by the Honorable Limo. And out of the two finance bills that we've done before, this was the most tricky one. At one point, we are looking at the suffering in the Kenyans. We want to have a budget that's going to revamp our economy. We want to collect money that will ensure that we protect the vulnerable from the effects of this COVID. And when we reopen the country, we want to be sure that our country moves forward. But at the same time, we do not want to overburden our citizens with more taxes and squeeze the blood and the water that's left out of them. And so I must admit, Madam Chair, this was a very tricky finance bill, but through our collective effort, we got to where we are. From the onset, I would like to say, Madam Chair, that majority of Kenyans would like to pay their legal obligation in terms of taxes. They are willing to do that.
I know in the committees you address the chair.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That most Kenyans are willing to pay their taxes. But what pains them is when that person who earns 40,000 shillings and pay out of it because it's compulsory, gets to hear that someone has not paid millions and billions of shillings in terms of taxes. That money is not prudently spent by the executive. And from the onset, I would like to say that the executive must ensure that this money that we are collecting from our Kenyans is well spent. And when that happens, even this that we're talking about voluntary saying of how much you're supposed to pay obligations to KRA, people are going to be willing to even pay much more because they can see that they have better roads, that they don't have power outages, and the money that they spend is being used prudently, Madam Speaker. A lot has been discussed about the digital tax, and there are things I would like to demystify, Madam Speaker. That one, this tax is meant for non-resident companies. I'll give an example, Madam Speaker. The biggest taxi company in the world is called Uber. These Uber do not own any vehicles in this country. They are not even a registered business enterprise in Kenya. And yet, you can see how they came and destabilized and really took over the taxi business in Kenya. And yet, there was no place for us to touch them and tax them because they are not a registered company in Kenya. And so they were not paying taxes for all this time, and yet they drove our drivers out of business. And we are saying that those corporations that are outside there that generate income from Kenya, then through these digital platforms, then that income must be paid taxes. And if they are paying taxes, they don't need to be worried because that tax can be offset when they are filing their returns at the end of the financial year, Madam Speaker. So it is not an additional tax whatsoever. If you're paying your correct taxes, you don't need to be worried. And this even goes the discussions that is going to lead to some loss of jobs. Madam Speaker, I am tempted to believe that this will even increase some of the jobs that you have and you'll save some jobs. Let me give an example. If you go to some online platforms like Alibaba or like Amazon, these are the biggest supermarkets in the world. And majority of Kenyans have realized if you want to order a book or a computer or a phone or whatever else you want, if you order from those sites and it gets shipped to the country, and even some of these platforms have free shipping. You don't even pay any cost for shipping. Then you realize that that television set that would have cost 50,000 shillings, you have saved your 10 or 15,000 shillings. And therefore, that person who is paying rent at River Road or at Kirinyaga Road or wherever else it is, do not get to compete on price on this particular product. And that's why you're saying, Madam Speaker, these digital platforms that are doing this business in Kenya must pay their correct value of taxes, Madam Speaker. Kenya Revenue Authority, I must say, has been relying on traditional means of collecting taxes. And that is why, year after year, it never achieves the target. People have moved. You find people now hardly carry cash. You either swap your card or pay via M-Pesa or the other mobile platforms. And yet, KRA has relied on the traditional ways of following up on these defaulters. And that's why the committee was suggesting, could we increase the budgetary allocation of KRA so that they can invest in vibrant technology systems that will even catch the amount, a lot of money that's out there that's not taxed. I'll give you an example, Madam Speaker. If you spread any hate speech now on any of the social media platforms, you will have the NCIC. They have systems that will check on which word you've said that's against the act, and they even come and arrest you where you are. Then how come that Kenya Revenue Authority still relies on postal address when they want to summon you to pay your taxes? How come that they even rely on very old ways of trying to find out how much money you are owed to, you're supposed to pay as your tax obligations? We have people here in downtown, Madam Speaker, who their sales in a day are in millions of shillings. People have hardwares, people that sell, they appear like small items, but the value of the property they sell is in millions. And yet, that income is not captured anywhere in our tax system. So you find them having a lot of money, they're not paying even taxes, and that person who is earning a salary as little as almost 20,000, apart from now that we passed that we exempted that income tax for incomes less than 25,000. They are paying a tax, Madam Speaker. And that we were saying, let us increase budget allocation to KRA and task them to invest in real measures that are going to ensure they net those people that are not paying taxes and they ensure compliance so that we have enough money, Madam Speaker, to support the economy. A lot has been said about the issue of tax exemption and zero rating. And I have on this floor of the House said several times that we need to have a predictable business environment. That this financial year, we are zero rating this. The exact same product in the following year, less than 12 months later. Sometimes even before the gazettement of the with effective date, we take it back to tax exemption. And we're saying, for example, the move, and that's why the proposal that we're now going to take maize flour and wheat flour back to zero rating, so that we make this business environment predictable. So that if you're going to open a milling factory, you are sure that this is the amount of money that you'll be paying, whether it's in terms of taxes, so that again, 2 months down the line, you're forced to close down because there was a change in tax laws that you're not even aware of. The toll tax on our road use, Madam Speaker, it is very important that people pay for the services that they use. And that is one of the principles of taxation. So if I am going somewhere and I want to go very fast, if I want to go at a particular speed, let me be allowed to go at that speed. Let me be allowed to use that road that I want will take me faster. And if that means collecting, me paying more and I'm willing to do that, let me do that. Other than taxing that border who is just using that bad road to construct a highway that they will never use. So for those that want to use those highways, let them pay for it. And again, let it also not be a pain so that you can also create those highways. And the bureaucracies of paying for that tax is so much that again we end up building a highway that no one is using, and the people that you should use that highway end up now going there to congest with the other small users of these other roads. In developed countries, Madam Speaker, when going through that highway, there is a camera that checks your registration number. That registration number is linked to your bank account, and automatically the tax that you're supposed to pay on using that road is deducted automatically from your bank account. And that is the model that we hope will be used on these highways. So that, Madam Speaker, if I want to go that express, let that poor person who does not even have the luxury of using it pay for it. And with that, Madam Speaker, I support this finance bill. Thank you.